Well, welcome to week 2 of Tuesday Night Heffron Park with Alexis and John. A big hello to both of you. Excellent. Let's go straight to it. And I'm going to do a bit of a synopsis of the race and then pass over to you two guys. You get your take conversation on it. It was a windy night, a south-southeaster is what we decided on, which is a little bit different to most normal Tuesday nights. It's in your face coming up the straight, but from your right shoulder, which does make it a bit hard for some of the riders. It started off, C grade started well. B grade started amazing up until about lap 3, where it fell apart in B grade, and they were no longer going to have an influence on the race. A grade looked great. As the race panned out, it became clear that A grade looked like they were going to get up until 5 riders broke away. Help me out if I've got it right. I think Dan Bonello was there, Jack Bennett was there, Tom Bolton was there, Marcus Curley was there, and Michael Cupitt. Have I missed anyone, John?
No, that's it.
I think that was it. Okay. So if I'm wrong, apologies to the poor soul that I've missed out. They crossed to B grade at 5 laps to go. At about 5 laps to go. They knew that the bunch are notably missing from that group of 5, Kurt Efer, a pre-race favourite. And of course, the pro Lockie Morton also missed the move. They got to the B grade.
Lockie was gone at that stage, I think.
I know he was. Yeah. He was having a beer and watching. At that point in time, they went straight to the front of B grade, knowing that they couldn't hang around, and they started to ride. I thought that was going to be the big move, but Cupitt fired a bullet. He was a little bit not so much lucky. He fired and he went away, and he used the C grades and shot up the draft of the C grades, shot through them, went across to, wait for it, Phil Hersey, talk about him later on, and just kept on going kept on going. The rest of A grade caught the B grade with the A graders. The B graders caught the C graders. And by the time all the melee had finished, Cupitt was 100 metres plus in front. At 2 to go, he increased that lead to over 150 metres, and it wasn't going to be closed down. That man is too strong, and the photos tell the story from there on. Fair synopsis or anything to add there, gentlemen?
I'll jump in first because I'll be quicker than John. I can't believe how many riders actually finished. I thought that was going to be a night of 10, 15 riders finishing. The way the groups were splitting into 2s and 3s throughout the race. So I was pretty impressed by how many people were able to make it to that finishing line. And I was probably also surprised then when you said Mick Cupitt was able to get a draft off C grade. I didn't think we actually gave one off. But, look, super impressive ride.
John, anything to add to the story?
Absolutely impressive. And I think that once Mick got in front of C grade, I think it was about 3, it was quite clear he was going to push on. He obviously had some assistance from his ZCC teammates behind, because by that time, once he'd gotten through C grade, the backmarkers in A grade actually caught, and they all came together again. And then he had more firepower with his teammates, with Jack Bennett, Phil Lucas, Jeff Rickards, and Dan Bonello. And there was no way they were going to let anyone get across. But kudos to Mick. What an incredible effort. What an amazing performance in those conditions.
How many? Average of 365 watts.
Yeah, I saw the photo. How many laps was he actually away for?
I'm guessing 3.5.
Yeah, I really don't know. We weren't in the bunch, but it was a long time.
I think he most probably, he most probably was away on the fourth to last lap, because I think that's when he got across to C grade. And let's not forget Phil Hersey, because Phil Hersey was doing his own Mick Cupitt solo breakaway. But unfortunately, Phil, having go Hersey, he did it with 8 to go and 7 to go off the front of C grade. But he certainly had a go.
He was in front for more than 2 laps. He was in front for.
Absolutely.
Alexis, you were there. You were there.
Look, people would say, "Oh, wow, what an amazing ride!" I actually vote for Phil Hersey to have probably the stupidest rider on the night.
We're all in agreement. We're in agreement with you there.
You'd actually say he was the worst sea grader on the night, because clearly you're like, "What are you doing, my man? You're killing yourself for absolutely no return." It was just, it was one of those performances that you just shook your head.
You notice, Alexis, I just want to point this out. Yes, I agree. It was the dumbest move. Yes, I agree. He was the dumbest rider in C grade. But guess who we're not talking about right now? We're not talking about a rider called Alexis Calais. We're not talking about how he went in C grade. We're not talking about any of the C graders. We're talking about
Dave Evans.
C grader.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Dave Evans, because I actually thought, but you look at the finishing list for B grade, it's all experience. It's like Robbie Allen, John Papard, Peter O'Connor, Dave Evans, guys who have raced for a long time were the ones who are actually finishing at the pointy end of B grade. So it was almost like, masters racing in B grade, and plenty of experience got them to the finishing line.
Question now, C grade, how'd they go? Alexis?
Look, Phil Hersey probably summed up our grade. Lots of 1s and 2s off the front. And I think we always lack that strength when there's a headwind. We're just not strong enough. We're not fit enough. We probably died in the arse with about 5 or 6 to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I thought you guys had a real chance at it. You got deep. You got a long way there. You had more chance than B grade.
Yeah, which was probably to be honest, that was surprising, because there were some laps I thought it felt like we were barely moving as we went down the straight. I mean, you didn't even have to hold on to your handlebars going down the straight. Sometimes we were going so slow.
Someone wasn't holding on to their handlebars going down the straight about mid-race.
Yeah, let's talk about it. There was a fall, and the way I saw it, coming into the straight, yes, a headwind, but that slight crosswind, everybody in a bit of an echelon, but it was in the middle of the road. One rider's, I think, I don't know, wasn't there, tapped a wheel, gone down, and it's gone either side of him. His body's gone one way, his bike's gone the other way. And Alexis, again, you probably saw more or knew more.
Unbelievably, I was at the front at that stage and actually had no idea it had happened. It was only until I turned around a lap or so later, I was like, where's everyone gone? And then I saw all the C graders. The C graders rejoining that we then spent half a lap trying to catch. So look, touch of wheels. It did slowed at the front, probably because I was close to there. And that it just touch of wheels, poor buggers, down they went.
But the good news is that everybody got up and is well enough to ride another day. But just interesting also on C grade, biggest grade of the night, 38 starters, only 16 finishes, 12 finishes. Actually, out of 38 starters. And just that point you made earlier about B grade, Crafty. B grade start off with a hiss and a roar, and then they kind of die out in the mid-race part and towards the end, because they've used up all their firepower. So that seems to be.
I think it's also bickering. It's bickering within the bunch, where they also go, "Well, I've done a turn. You do a turn," and then they, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything," and then it's just 1s and 2s off the front.
You got Dave Evans, you got John Peppard, you got Rollo. Of course, there's bickering.
But on the other side of that, I got to hand it to A grade. I was so impressed the way those guys rode on Tuesday night. I was chatting to Dan Bonello this morning, and he's a guy who's ridden a few high-level races in the last few months, and he said he's just loving the way A grade are racing. And I got to hand it to all of them, actually.
Let's go back to A grade now, because, yes, we've been talking about how good Michael Cupitt was, how amazing he was, and he got time to celebrate the victory. But there's still a race going on behind him, and the race for the finish. You mentioned Dan Bonello. Dan Bonello broke away and was away coming into the straight. It looked like he was had a bit of a gap. The sprint came and the big guns came to the front. Notably, possibly the fastest rider, Kurt Efer, did not feature in the chance to get that second place. I think he was on the back foot the entire time when he missed the move. John, your take on
Yeah,
the
you can
sprint
see
finish?
that, and you can most probably see that by his positioning in those closing laps. He was never where he should have been. And I think on a still or fast night, Kurt can move up very, very quickly. We've got the video to prove it from just before Christmas. But yeah, most probably you're right. On the back foot for a lot of the race. And so when the sprint came, yeah, the legs were most probably just a bit heavier than they should have been.
Also, the mind turned off, knowing that he missed that initial split. It kind of makes you feel like, oh, what am I in this race or not? Alexis, what do you think?
I think Kurt Ethan might be like me, and he prefers to see a sprint finish than a guy just soloing off the front when you're a spectator. Spending a lot of times watching the finishings, I prefer to see a sprint of 3 or 4 of them just going flying past than having to watch Mick Cupitt enjoy the finishing straight and all the spoils that brings.
2 points. You get to see a lot of race finishes. So I respect your answer there. I respect that. But you're wrong. Mate, the races I remember at Heffron, the ones that I remember, John, I'm going to put 4 names out and you try and guess which. Let's see if you name each one of these 4. What races do I remember at Heffron?
In reverse chronological order,
Yeah.
Jesse Coyle 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Prior to that, Ben Dybel in the trophy race.
Freaking amazing.
Massive ride. Jake Kaufman in the trophy race from about 10 years ago.
Twice.
And there's a shout out to 2 riders, and that was Dean Windsor and Pete McDonald in a previous trophy race where they lapped the field.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that wasn't. I'm gonna leave people guessing who this one was, but guess what? Each one of those races, how'd they finish, and why do I remember them, Alexis?
Look, I remember them as well, but I think as a spectator, I'd still prefer to see a sprint finish on the night.
Okay. I've seen more sprint finishes than I've seen solos.
So who's the other rider, Crafty?
No, I'll let people try and work that one out, and then people can try and guess who it is. It was a solo breakaway as well. Let's go, Michael Cupitt. You're amazing. We're so stoked. I'm going to go back to the fall that happened on lap 10. I'm not going to talk about the riders so much, but I am going to say something I did read on social media. One of the riders who went to hospital got a few stitches put in, and he did a shout out to the commissaire, Robin Sprouster. Why did he say that? Because she rang, and I bet you she didn't ring just him. I bet you she rang just about everybody who was in that fall.
As she did, and she just once again shout out to Robin. What a fantastic job she's been doing in terms of just the detail, the follow up. We got an email on Wednesday morning from her with the accident report. Complete breakdown of all the riders that were involved and that she had followed up, and that's fantastic. And that was Matt Connor that posted that, and thanks Matt for giving her the kudos there. And the other kudos just around that incident, of course, for the Ambos, they did a fantastic job in just patching everybody up and tidying everybody up.
And no ambulance called, which was bloody good. Yeah. Let's talk point score. Man, it's tight. It's got a couple of leaders. Alexis, have you seen the point score?
No, I'm going to rely on John to tell us.
Tell me, John.
Well, I reckon the point score is looking really exciting, and that's only after week 2. Keep in mind, we've got a week off next week because we've got the Memorial race. But right at the moment, we've got Jack and Tom in the series, equal on 10 points. Jack holds on to his green jersey by virtue of his round 1 win. We've got Mick Cupitt backing up in 7 on 7 points, so it's only 3 points behind, and then it drops away to Jesse Coyle, who was away on this week, so maybe he'll be back in a fortnight. B grades, we've had a change of jersey because Nick Costa backed up with a second on Tuesday night. From his second place the previous week. So he's now on 4 points, but only 1 point in front of Chris Collins and Ollie Ludman, who had his first win in B grade. C grade, we had young Jeremy Cannon. He's been doing really well and had his best race and finished unchallenged actually on Tuesday night. So he's now got the blue jersey. And then just talking about Keira, who's taking a commanding lead in that women's comp. She's on 6 points, followed by Brie Plale and Nicole Wilson further back in 2.
So for the simpleton, what's the difference? How do you get series points, and how does that differ to grade points? Like how is Jack Bennett on 10 points in the series, 4 points in his grade?
Don?
Well, that's very simple, Alexis. And if you read your race guidelines, so the points for the series go 7 for the win, 5 for second, 3, 2, 1. The grade points are just a straight 3, 2, 1.
So they're completely separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you win the race, you also win your 3 points for your grade. So you'll note that tying the lead in A grade is Tom Bolton and Jack Bennett. They're both on 4 points from memory. You can do the math from there. Look, we know. Well, we don't know. If you go back to a guy called Roland Lang, watch John's face go right now. Right. Okay.
That had to be one of the best series ever.
It was freaking.
You're killing me, Alexis.
It came down to the last race.
Hang on. Even another level above the Roland Lang saga was the demo affair.
Okay, I'm taking it back, John, because your story is going to take half an hour. Here we go. It is fair to say that the majority of times the A graders dominate the series, and there's a reason for that. Is it starting to shape up? We're week 2. Is it starting to shape up as the Tom and Jack show again?
I think so, but don't discount Kurt Ether. If he turns up and races in those latter rounds, he won't take much. 7 points here, 5 points there. He's going to really challenge. Just wanted to add that the series being dominated by A grade, I just think that A grade in the last 3 to 5 years has stepped up a level, and that's why they're dominating.
Yeah, no question. Look at their average speed at the moment. Every week, if you're not doing 47 k an hour, they're not winning. Like, it's unbelievable.
47's for softies. Alexis, who's going to win the women's series?
Keira Will, no question.
Really, no question?
No question. I think she's too strong. I'd actually like to see a race, maybe have a crack at racing B grade for a week or two, just to actually develop herself.
Keira,
if you're listening, Keira, you're safe in C grade for the time being.
Keira, ignore Alexis. He's an idiot, right? He would rather see a sprint finish than a dominant ride like Michael Cupitt. Okay? All right, let's go. Rider of the week. Gentlemen, Alexis, who was rider of the week?
Mick Cupitt. He bored me to death.
John, who was rider of the week?
Let me think about this.
Okay. Mick
Have a
Cupitt.
go, Hersey? Nah, my vote goes to Mick Cupitt, hands down.
Round of applause, Mick Cupitt, rider of the week. Absolutely, hands down. Yes, people will remember it. I can't remember that all the bunch of friends, but Alexis loves them. What's happening next week, John? You touched on it.
Next week is the second summer monument for the Tuesday night Heffron Summer Racing Program, and that's the Joseph Sunday Memorial and Anthony Spurgeon Senior Handicap Memorial.
How long's the Joseph Sunday been running, John?
This will be our 28th year, so Joseph's birthday is actually coming up on the 1st of March in a few weeks, and he would have been, quick John, he would be 34. So we've lost a couple of years on the memorial race, but so it's our 28th year, and it's a great night. It's a family night, and all the riders and regulars, bring your girlfriend down, bring your wife down, bring your kids down. East will be doing putting on a sausage sizzle, I hope, and a few beers after. Always a great night.
And flowers presented, and families and smiles. It's great. Alexis, you've backed that up.
Absolutely. And so how that works is the top B grade riders race A, and then C are racing for B for the Spurge, the King, right?
That's correct.
That will be a C grade victory.
It's a cut and paste of the trophy race.
It absolutely is. So there's a bunch of B grade riders. They know who they are. They'll get an email inviting them to enter the trophy, the memorial race, the Joseph race.
And congratulations,
of course.
Yeah, well done to those riders, and take it as an honour because we're really impressed. The handicap though, C and B, the trophy race, C, mate, in the last 5 laps, they were putting time into B grade.
It'll be the same this week because without those B grade work, the couple of top guys going up to A grade will weaken B grade to the extent they haven't got a hope of catching C grade.
Yeah, and I can see
it'll be over with
what's coming here. All the
over with 5 laps to go.
All the sleepers that are in C grade, like Alexis Calais, Gino, Have a Go Hersey. There's a few others in there. They're all going to save themselves. I know. I can see it coming.
Oh, we've got it. That's his name now. Have a Go Hersey. Yeah. Gentlemen, have we spoken about everything we need to speak about?
Yeah, I think we covered it.
I think we have. Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our first show of the year too, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these. It's almost as long as one of John's stories.
No. Nothing's as long as my stories, Crafty.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up. See you next Tuesday at Heffron Park.
See you next Tuesday.
See ya.
Too easy.